Hello and welcome back to Honest CEO. I am your host, Gisele Littrell, and I am having a day, let me tell you. So I was planning on my first real podcast on this show was going to be kind of telling you my story and my background. But since this is honest, I ain't gonna talk about that. You know why? Because I have had one hell of a week. And I'm like, great, let's start this Honest CEO podcast off with what it's like to actually be a business owner. So I did have a couple of people ask me, why'd you call this the Honest CEO when you're not technically a CEO? Yes, I am. I'm the CEO of my motherfucking life. So there you go. I choose to call myself a CEO because I didn't think an owner was an accurate description of what I am. I don't just own a business. I do all the things. I manage the business. I am HR. I am protocols. I am quality control and training and accountant. I'm everything. Do I have some help? Yeah, I have an actual accountant who makes sure that, shit's not hitting fans, but I do it all, as every business owner knows. So I don't just get to sit back, own a fucking business, and collect a check. Although that's what employees sometimes think about you. It's not true. We do everything. We're up all the fucking time. Morning till dark. Crack to crack. Understand? So I'm the CEO of it all. I oversee the whole damn thing. There you have it. I will have on the show actual CEOs of businesses, corporations, whatever, but I plan on having a lot of CEOs of people's motherfucking life because they are badasses as well. Just killing it every day, doing all the things that it takes to run a business, and not just owning something. So there you go. If you happen to be a business owner, change your title to CEO. In fact, founder and CEO. That's what I have on everything. I'm I am the founder and CEO. Because I thought of this shit and I run it too. So anyway, moving on to not my story, my history, which maybe we'll do that next week. I'm already a day behind recording this because it's been a shit week. Remember when I said, we go through, a lot of shit as a business owner? It's one of those weeks. It's been a week. Okay, so first off, my dad, he went into the hospital about a week ago. And honestly, we have real lives too, all of us business owners. And we have to not only figure out how to run our business with our struggling life, but then we have a bunch of employees who have all kinds of crazy struggling lives. And then we have to accommodate for those. So today, I'm finally recording because yesterday was nuts and I was, doing all the things. And today, I'm doing all the things again. So I wake up expecting to maybe have 2 hours in the morning to I don't know, go to the gym and drink a coffee or something before I'm on the computer. And then I've got all these things okay, now I got a podcast this morning and I'm going to do this. Why? Because this is what I want to do. So I'm going to make it happen. And I technically should have been at the cafe right now, but whatever. I'm going to talk about that. Because this has come up a couple of times this week about priorities and what's really important and stuff like that. So to give you some kind of framework as to why it's nuts, not only is my dad in the hospital and he's doing okay-ish. So, I'll update you on that. He's living, he's surviving. He's not going to lose his leg. So that's a good thing. And we're just trying to get the right antibiotic in him. So I'll let you know if we found it. I have an employee who also lost a family member this week. Terrible, sad. It was her grandfather, I believe. And that, is something that it's not going to be no, you can't call off. Obviously, you got to give your employees off and, be compassionate and stuff like that. So I totally feel for her. Very sorry for her loss. But that gives me one more thing I got to figure out this weekend. So I'm okay, we can figure that out. I'm going to be helping my mom and I'm going to go visit my dad, and then she's off, so I'm going to work in the cafe. Oh yeah, I was supposed to be training the new employee on strongman. It's going to be the new owner is going to be taking over strongman. So I need to train the new owner all weekend long. So like Friday night and Saturday, and then it's Mother's Day on Sunday. So I've got like a bunch of cake orders that I need to start making. So I was like, well, I was going to do those on Friday, but now this girl's off. So I'm going to have to do I'm going to start those on Thursday night. So I'm going to be baking, from like 7 to midnight on Thursday night, and instead of being able to do that on Friday. So because now I got to work the cafe all day on Saturday, and I'm going to find a replacement to hopefully train for a couple hours for the new employee. And then, now I have to work all day Mother's Day. So, sorry, Mom, can you just come in and make cookies? Because like, I'm not going to find time to be with you on Mother's Day now. So, I'll probably have to like work with the new owner on Sunday night. So I'm going to have to change that around. And, are you confused yet? Are you like, you wanted to shut this podcast off already? Yeah, it's kind of like me. I kind of want to shut my fucking life off for a minute, right? Hello, welcome to entrepreneurship. Yikes, it's fucking crazy. And I know it's a little crazier than it should be because I'm trying to do all these things like expand the outdoor space in my cafe and trying to build the coffee bar. And now that I don't have my dad with me, I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? How am I going to get that done? I don't know. I'm trying to contact friends and like, who can help me get this accomplished? Because now I don't have my dad, and we do everything together and we build everything together. And so, oh, by the way, I'm supposed to have gone down to my grandma's like in a couple of weeks with my dad, and now I'm like, I'm gonna have to go alone. I'm gonna have to do this myself, even though my dad thinks he's going to go with me. He's not going with me. He's gonna be laid up for like a month. And despite his terrible efforts of being a horrible patient and saying he's going to start doing whatever he wants, I know that's not true. So I am really trying to figure out the schedule, how I can get the schedule covered so I don't have to be in the cafe, even though I've got all these new people who need trained and they need my time, and I don't have the time to give them. Anyway, it's like, take a minute, breathe. And so I had to start telling myself this week, all the pressure I feel, I put on myself. All the deadlines I have, I put on myself. There is nobody, remember, I'm the boss. There's nobody holding me accountable to stuff. I hold myself accountable. You know, sometimes I laid shit out there for people. I'm like, I'm going to have this done by May 27th. And what if I don't? But what if I don't? Like, I mean, I don't get fired or anything. You know what I mean? So that's cool. That's a bonus. Thank God. But all the pressure, ultimately, I put on myself. I set the deadlines, and I am believing I have to have this stuff done at a certain time, and I want to start scheduling events and blah, 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 right? But I don't have to actually I don't have to accomplish stuff in that time frame. Because guess what? Life happened. Shit happens. I don't know if this falls under one of them laws, like, you know, Newton's got some. Well, Gisele's got some laws too. Guess what? They're the motherfucking shit happens laws. And any other business owner out there, any other entrepreneur will tell you that's true. I don't know the exact layout of how the shit happen law goes, but usually they come in like 6s or 10s. Like, you don't just get one shit happen today, but there's gonna be like 10 shits happened today, because they don't come in singles. Newsflash, you want to be a business owner, you're gonna have some awesome days, and I'm sure I'm going to talk about those like in the next month. I do have a vacation scheduled in a month, so Dad, like, be well and out of the hospital by then, because I am not canceling it. This girl needs it, or she's gonna be hospitalized, like in the mental ward. So I know I'm going to be telling you about how cool it is to own your own business. That's not today's podcast though. And it's not that it's not cool. I just want you to know how hard it is. And I'm like, I could give you a story today. I could tell you, you know, whatever about my life and stuff like that. But I wanted to start this podcast because I want people to know the reality of like the real day-to-day grind, the hardships that it is to actually have to be everything and everywhere and all the things. And when you're a really motivated and driven kind of person like I am, and mind you, if you couldn't tell, I'm kind of high energy. So for me to get like overwhelmed and tired, like I was in the bathtub last night at midnight because I physically am exhausted and I hurt everywhere. And I'm like, have some salt. Thank you, Mom. You raised me right. It really does work, people. And little bubbles just for happy measures because, bubbles make you feel good. So did the whiskey. Just saying. But for those of you who maybe don't drink, just take the Debbie, okay? I didn't start doing that until recently when I realized self-care, even at midnight, is really, really important. So take a minute. Love yourself. How much love you give. That's totally, that's wrong show. Anyway, so yeah, I am just completely overwhelmed and super exhausted, and kind of like that. If you're not watching this on video, maybe you should go to the YouTube channel and like watch it on video. I'm pulling my hair out. Now I'm going to fix my hair. Okay. So you say, okay, what are you going to do? What are you doing to fix that? How are you managing aside from taking tubs and drinking whiskey? Because there's got to be a solution to this, right? So I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I love her to death. We've known each other a long time, and she's musically talented, and she is just an incredible powerhouse, and she deals with an invisible illness as well as I, and I'm not going to talk about that today, but maybe one of these days, and it's a significant part of my life. So we are working on a fundraiser for her, and she asked how it was going, and I was like, it's funny you asked. So she says, is there anything I can do? I'm like, no, there's nothing you can do. And she's like, would you tell me if there was? I'm like, no, probably not. First off, it's really hard for business owners to ask for help. And I've had to learn this, especially in the past year with the pandemic, because I have needed help and financial help and volunteers when you can't afford employees and stuff like that. So I have needed help, and I'm so thankful for all the people out there who have helped me. And as our conversation progressed, I was like, oh wait, there is something you can help me with. Like, out of all of this stuff, I hadn't found an artist to replace the artwork on the wall. The few that I had canceled. And normally it's really easy for me to find another one. I've got kind of a whole list of artists that have been there or that are looking to come. But, I've got all this stuff going on, and I'm fitting in visiting my dad and such. And so I have not found one. And I'm like, on the priorities list, like, it's way down here. Like, so people don't have artwork to look at on the walls here. I'm okay with that. And that's one of the things, like, what can I just let go of? Like, what's one of the things that I'm pressured about? Having cool local artwork on the wall, although needed, could it wait a week? Yep, it can wait. We'll just have a bare wooden wall for a little while. People are still coming to get coffee. They don't come specifically to look at the art of the wall. She's like, I know 20 artists right away. And she's like, I will have somebody here. And literally this morning, that was yesterday, like 4 o'clock. This morning, early, she texted me, somebody's coming in bringing their artwork tomorrow, like, no worries. Oh, thank God. It's like, it's a small thing, but it's just one thing I don't have to think about, one thing I don't have to worry about. I don't have to schedule or find the person or whatever. And reminding me everybody can do something to help you, and it's not wrong to ask, even when you know that person already struggles with their own life. I do it. I help people when I don't have time to do my own shit, and because it makes you feel good, and it kind of pulls your head out of your current situation for a minute. And anytime I want to work on something in my business, I always go help somebody in theirs, because you get stuck in this vortex of stress inside of your own business, and you need somebody to help pull you out of it. If you haven't watched the Undercover Billionaire show, there's a segment in there, I believe, I don't know. I talked to Glenn for so many hours that did not end up on the show. I'm kind of like, what was on there again? I should probably watch it again. But on Comeback City, he helps out my cafe, and he really helped give me direction and focus on where to take the business and the steps that it's going to require. So I don't think maybe they go into detail about that. And I think I'm going to really highlight the mentorship that he gave me, since you don't get to see the finer details and the hours of conversations that we have on that show. So I think that would be kind of fun to do. But he helped direct me into how to focus on the business and how to utilize other people to get to where you need to go. And that's something I have definitely struggled with. And because I have attempted it before at other businesses and then had setbacks from it, right? I had disappointments from those people, especially the ones that I hired. And so then you just get like burned and you're like, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to try it again. Like, I'll just do it all. Fuck it. Like, it'll get done right if I do it. Like, that's literally my dad's motto. And probably why he's in the hospital right now, because he's always just overworking. And I have this fantastic trait from him. Thanks, Dad. So I'm so thankful my friend was able to help me out, reminding me that I can ask for the help and receive it, and people are happy to give it. And I was telling her that I really, this whole putting the pressure on myself, I really needed to just keep taking some time, stop, meditate for a second, breathe in, breathe out, calm your mind. I keep trying to do this as I think about it throughout the day, even if I'm driving or while I was in the kitchen last night, waiting for cakes to rotate in the oven. I'm like, breathe, just out, like, because you forget to breathe and then your body like doesn't function correctly. There's so much about breathing. And to keep the brain working, take those deep breaths. So I am trying to work on myself, knowing that I don't have to keep that immense pressure to achieve everything that I set out to achieve within the next 3 weeks. So when life happens and throws these curveballs at you that you then have to figure out, I know my one friend said, time for a new strategy. And that's really what it is. This is strategy. Strategizing will help keep you from passing out, I think, out of depression or like crying yourself to sleep at night. It's like, okay, so while I'm soaking in the tub, I'm like, new strategies, Gisele, like we got to come, I say we, like me, myself, and I, we all have to come up with a new strategy for how to tackle this month. And I'm just trying to think of this month. Like, don't even think of the summer. Do I have a bunch of events and a bunch of things to figure out? I do. That can be like next month's problem. I'm gonna think about July and June because May is like falling apart. So we're gonna think about next week. And then on Monday, I'm gonna think about next week. So when really, really crazy amounts of stuff happen all at once, like they're going to do, because the shit happens laws, you just need to take a step back, refocus, and say, okay, I got to prioritize what's the most important thing. Well, hello, my dad's life is most important. He could have lost it, so I'm going to make sure I visit him every day. I'm going to fit that in my schedule now. Wrote him a song. Go on my Instagram, Music by Gisele, and listen to it because apparently it's making everybody cry. But literally, it reminded me when my dad went to the hospital to just say, hey, when's the last time you said you appreciated him and that you really loved him and that you can't live without him? Because I don't remember when that was. So when would now be a good time to do that? Remember I said that in the intro? So this is what happens. When is now the right time for certain things to happen? And so being thrown this curveball of, my dad, once again, winding up in the hospital, I'm like, okay, now's the right time to tell Daddy I love him and I can't live without him. And basically you do everything for me and there is no replacement for you unless I hired 10 people. So that's one thing. Do that. Appreciate the people in your life and make sure you tell them you love them because you never know. And then the next thing is, my employees, because, and the other thing, it's finals week, and guess who employs mostly college students? It's okay. So being short-staffed, trying to support all of them, like, I know finals are extremely, extremely hard. I was a student just a few years ago. I went and graduated in 2015, and so it's not so far removed that I don't remember the crazy stress and how hard finals weeks is. And so they're trying to accomplish their projects and, help support the business as much as possible because they know we're short-staffed, yada, yada. got some new people starting next week. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then my manager, she gets sick today, and then she has to call off. And so I'm like, okay, so we should have 3 people on staff today, and we have 1. And I need to go over. I gotta go podcast. Bye. Because it's really important to me, and I'm gonna do it. So I was in Chipotle the other day. This is relevant. Wait for it. And it was like online orders only. I've only been there a few times, so I was like, I don't know, what does that mean? He's like, you're like, this isn't fast food today. Like, you gotta order on your little app, and then you gotta wait like 15 to 20 minutes for your food. You can't just like order your little bowl and go. Okay, I'm in a hurry, but it's fine. Whatever. I can do 15 minutes. Can it be 15 minutes? Because like there's a party going on at my cafe that I'm supposed to be staffing, but I'm not there. But it's okay because like I had to clean tonight because my employee's gone, and so that's fine. But I'm starving because I haven't eaten all day, so I'll wait 15 minutes. Okay, 40 minutes later, my food is ready, and I'm still waiting because I'm starving and I already paid for it and I ordered online, so I can't just leave. And I get to the party. And I was like, I was really hungry. I hadn't eaten my food yet. And it's really late and I'm exhausted because I've already been working like 14 hours and it's fine. And I'm going to have to clean up from this party. And, I end up working till midnight. But I get there and this kid had like broken something in my cafe. And it wasn't like a high price item or anything like that. But like it was that, straws. And I was just like, okay, I'm fine with that. It's okay. It's broken. And like, you almost broke that. And it's like, I'm glad you guys are having a good time. I'm just going to step in the back room and I'm going to eat my dinner. And then party will be over. I'm going to take care of this later, right? So, having said that, 2 things. It's 4, but it's like, okay. So there's 2 things. I was willing to wait 40 minutes for my food. So I'm thinking about my cafe and I'm like, I'm short staffed. There's all these things happening. I'm not going to put a poster up that says why all this shit's happening in here and why we're short staffed and why you got to wait 5-10 minutes for your drink. Like whatever, because it'll change tomorrow, the 5 reasons why. And I'm thinking, well, and that's a chain restaurant. I'm willing to sit there because I see these employees are working hard. They're working their butts off. And I was like, it's not like they're lying. They are understaffed. They said we're online orders only because we're short staffed. I can see that. And the people who were there were really busting their ass. Like, I was impressed. I kind of wanted to like offer a job to a couple of them. And I know Chipotle is already short staffed. So I'm like, I'm not going to steal your employees. Calm down. But I'm like, if people really want something, they'll wait for it. Like, if you really love your product, like, you're going to wait for it. And I will tell you, they got my order wrong. Like, they still messed it up. I waited 40 minutes. It was missing the guacamole. And we all know, for those of you who love guac, like myself, hello, that's like devastation. It's hard to recover when you don't get the guacamole and you can't just go in and be like, I need my guacamole, right? So, I hadn't eaten, they messed up my order, something was broken in my cafe, I wasn't there to work, and so I'm feeling all this crazy, like, shit, I can't get my life together. Mind you, that was last Friday. We're on to the next week, and it's been nonstop, because then the next day, we had strongman jobs, I had cafe problems, and it's just it was ongoing. And Dad goes in the hospital, blah 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 blah. The week starts stacking up. So it's okay. Okay, so that was 1. People are willing to wait. So calm down, Gisele. It's not that real. Like, it's just coffee. At the end of the day, they'll fucking wait for a cup of coffee. And if they don't, they leave. Okay, bye. Like, if you can't understand, like, business is hard, especially small business, when I can't afford to have 20 people on staff. I've got 8 people, and honestly, that's a lot for me, and it's a financial hardship to try and keep it overstaffed while we're trying to grow. But I'm trying to do the best I can, and I'm trying to fill in all the gaps and, among having a life. So kind of like me waiting for Chipotle, I was like, I don't know what's going on. You don't know if somebody just lost a family member and that's why they're short-staffed, or people are sick, or whatever the case is. Life is going on for every single one of those employees and the managers and Chipotle corporate and whatever. So have some compassion, people. Like, walk into a situation, try not to get immediately mad. Was I getting frustrated? I was waiting. Yeah. Did I get upset my guacamole was missing? Yes. I simply took the survey that said, were you happy? And I'm like, not entirely. It was missing guacamole, and I would just like some free guacamole next time. And they sent me a free guacamole for the next time because I wasn't a bitch and I didn't go in there raving at people like, you forgot that guac. So, like, don't do that to me. Don't come into my business and be all like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Well, there's a lot wrong. You just can't see it. And really, does anybody want to take the time to hear me rant? I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, obviously you do. If you made it this far, 25 minutes in, you obviously care. Thank you. That's so kind of you. I appreciate that. But two was okay. So you'll wait for your food or leave. And two, instead of like losing my shit and getting mad that, something was broke in my cafe, I just removed myself because thankfully I am, I don't know, maybe old enough to know. I don't know. I've experienced enough to know. I've been in business long enough to know, like, I instantly was getting upset, but I knew I was getting upset more than I needed to. And so I needed to just remove myself from the situation, even though I probably should have stayed. She was a friend who was having the party there anyway. And I was like, I love you. You know that. But this has been a very difficult day and it's going to be a difficult weekend. I didn't even know, like, my dad was going to get sick and stuff. But I was like, I can't mentally take it. So instead of me, like, cracking apart here over something small and quite insignificant in the scope of things, it's just a cup holder. Ultimately, I'm going to just eat my dinner in the back and then I'll be back out and I'll clean. And like, they felt bad and whatever. She wanted to like make up for it. I'm like, just leave. Like, you can make up by just leaving because I've got like 2 hours of cleaning to do. She's like, let me help clean. I'm like, no, honestly, I just need to be alone and take care of this. So know yourself, know the situation. Most of the time, things are happening to us in multiples, and not one of those things is super significant enough to really lose your shit over. The last thing you want to do is hurt people's feelings, ruin relationships, lose your what's the word I'm looking for? This is the problem not having anybody else in the room, because I'm like, I need a person. When I'm with Andy Kerr on the Unscripted show, usually we can think of things for each other. I don't hurt your reputation is kind of, I can't think of the other word, but it's kind of like, don't hurt your reputation. For a moment of anger or frustration or stress or being tired. You don't want to lose that, right? So, because that's not who you are all the time. But there was a whole bunch of new people at this party who had never met me, never seen me. And I think they could probably feel the tension emanating from me as soon as I walked into the room. So I did not want them to all think I was some psychopath and they didn't know why their friend was friends with me and why they were here. And I'm like, I'm going to step away because like these people don't know me. So they're probably not going to give me any allowances if I react poorly right now. So that's okay. Give yourself that allowance. Remove yourself from a situation, even if you think you shouldn't walk away or couldn't walk away. If it's going to be in front of customers or potential customers or anybody who you have a relationship with and you don't want to hurt, take yourself out for a second. It goes back to that breathing thing, like step the fuck away and go breathe. So I go away, I go to eat my dinner if I know my dinner's wrong, like whatever. And then I'm like, and this too is just one small thing, another small thing. And those small things add up, and you're only human, and you can only take so much shit before you're like, I'm gonna go to the nut ward. That's the day in the life of an entrepreneur. I don't know if this was encouraging or not, but I think I'm gonna wrap it up and just say, be encouraged that as I start this podcast in one of my crazier weeks of the entire 2021 year, up to this point, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to survive it. I'm going to take a step back and prioritize, reprioritize. And if something else happens tomorrow, which you know it's going to, that's okay. I'm going to re-strategize and figure it the fuck out. That's what I'm going to do. That's what we do. I'm a CEO. Anyway, anybody else out there can chant that with me. I hope this was helpful. Thank thanks for sitting around and listening to me bitch about being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, being the CEO of my life. I hope you feel it. I hope you know you're not alone in that, and that's kind of what I wanted to let you know, is that like if crap's coming down on you really hard, you're not the only person that's happened to. And if it's coming in waves and you're like, is this normal? It's normal, unfortunately. I'm sorry, and it won't be the last time. It sure as hell is not the first time it happened to me, and it won't be last. It won't be the last 100th time, I'm sure, because I plan on being in business like forever. So I hope this helps in some small way. I might share my story next week. We'll see. I've got a long week ahead of me, and I can't wait to see what happens. I'll update you next week. And if it seems to be like a pretty uneventful week, maybe I'll just talk about my history. But most weeks aren't uneventful, which is great because it gives me a ton of material to talk to you about. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for now. I'm going to say peace out till next week.